Today, I want to talk about investing with your partner. Now, I feel like this is an important topic that can easily be overlooked, but these days, you know, it's difficult to get into the property market, but it is much easier when you're investing with someone, whether it's your girlfriend, boyfriend, friend, family. Investing with a partner is a really important topic because it allows you to get into investments a lot faster than normal. It also spreads the risk out, and together you can move a lot far, or you can move a lot faster and a lot further. Hey Ash, um, hey Catalina, hey Nicholas. So today I want to talk about investing with a partner and the things that you should think about. Now, when you're buying real estate in particular, it is a huge transaction. You're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it is a very scary time for a lot of people. Now, going into that type of investment, you're going to have different risk tolerances, different fears, different thoughts, and ways to be thinking about, basically think about this investment. Now, when I went and invested with my partner, with Charlotte, the thing that we had to talk about first was to align and see if we shared the same goals and if we shared the same vision for the future. I think that's a really important thing to consider. When you're investing with anybody, you need to make sure that your vision for the future aligns. And if it doesn't, that's the fastest way that you're going to get into trouble. So thinking about that, buying a property is a long-term asset. It's a long-term investment. So you need to think about, what point do we want to exit the property? What are we going to be using this investment for? And what does success look like? Are we buying this investment because we want to hold it for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? Do we want to own this investment only for, until we earn $500,000, maybe $1 million? Is the goal to own this property for an amount of time, then sell it, then buy your dream home? You need to be clear about what your objectives are for this investment. Set the timeline, set the goal, and if you can, document it so it's all in paper. The biggest time that you have issue is when it's not black and white. Whenever there's a gray area, what you think is gray and what they think is gray, that's when you're going to have problems. So when investing with a partner, make sure you're clear about what your goals are, what you're trying to achieve, and what you want to get out of this investment and what your time horizons might be. So that's a really big one. What are you trying to achieve with this investment? When you get there, what are you going to do with this property? The other one to talk about is, what are your fears? What are your big concerns? What's your risk appetite? Now, with buying property, I've been doing it for more than a decade. My partner Charlotte, I was helping her buy her first. Now, we had different risk appetites. I'm a lot more aggressive by nature. I'm a lot more comfortable with debt. I'm a lot more comfortable taking risks or educated risks because I've been doing it for a lot longer than her. So for her, it felt like I was moving very, very quickly, making rush decisions and not slowing down to where her pace was. So it's really important that when you're sitting with someone, you need to find out, what are the fears that are going to come out of this. Is your partner scared of debt? Are they scared of getting too much debt? Are they scared that you may not be able to rent the property out? Are they scared that you might not be able to make your mortgage payments? So when you're thinking about doing this investment together, it's important to air out all the dirty laundry and figure out what is scary to the both of you. Who of you is more aggressive? Who of you is going to be a lot more reserved? And what does aggressive and reserved mean? So for the person that is aggressive, what criteria do you need before you're going to go and buy something? And for the person that's reserved, what boxes do you need to tick for them before they feel comfortable to buy this property, whether it's your own home or an investment? It's a really important thing to consider. what does what do you need to do in order for you both to be comfortable before you're going to go and buy this investment? One person can't go rushing ahead and leave the other person behind because you're never going to quite agree on what you need to do, and you're probably not going to get the result that you want. I'm going to pause a second and see if any of you have questions for me. Are there any questions that are bubbling to the surface? Are any of you out there investing with family, with your partner, with friends or relatives, business associates? So, okay, a good question. Now, when investing, the structure matters. How you buy the property is another thing to be considerate of. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a solicitor. This is advice that you want to go and get. This is advice you want to go and get from an accountant or solicitor. When buying the property, you may want to buy it tenants in common or joint tenants. When you're joint tenants, you own the property together. So if one of you die, it just automatically goes to the other person. If you buy it tenants in common, then you are buying this property and allocating a split, 50-50 split. Some cases, you can buy the property and have it 99% one person, 1% the other person. That might be due to someone earning more money than the other person, someone contributing more cash, someone having to have all the debt on their shoulders. There's the way that you can split it up. The other way that you can go and look at buying investment properties is by organizing different structures, different trust structures, whether it's a unit trust or a family trust. You can talk to accountants and look to go and buy investments, homes, properties inside of a trust structure. And that means that the investment was owned by the trust, and you, as people buying that property, you then own shares or units in that trust. So rather than you owning the property directly, you've got an entity that has bought the property, and then you then own shares in that entity or units in that entity. People do that because it might seem a little less complicated when trying to then sell the units in that trust. It makes things a little bit different when you're trying to go and get debt. It makes things more complicated because there's more work that you need to do up front, but it can simplify things down the road. If you're not family and you're buying with friends, you are wanting to then pass on the units or your shares in this vehicle to someone else. So yeah, good question. Investment. Okay. This person has said that investment in residential property is what's wrong with the world. Okay, I'd say that there's other things that's wrong in this world. You probably come to the wrong channel. So with investing with your partner, just to summarize today, what you really want to be doing is to make sure that you've both established what the goals are, what you're trying to achieve with this investment, what's your investment timeline, how long are we going to be in this property together, what point are we going to sell it? If maybe someone has a baby and they want to sell the vehicle, do you agree on doing that? So what's your exit strategy when buying properties together? And then also figuring out what the fees are. What are your main concerns with buying this property? How are you going to mitigate those fears? And then also, what are your criteria? What makes for a good property? What do you both want to get out of it? What does success look like so that when you identify it, it's nice, it's crystal clear. And when you're going into this, when you're buying with a partner looking to invest in real estate, make sure that you get as much of this as you can documented. The more that you document, the more that you're clear up front, it's going to save you a lot of headaches later. Whenever there's a gray area, that's a point of contention just waiting to happen. Anyways, that's everything that I've got to say about investing with partners. If any of you got any questions, let me know. I'll wait a couple more minutes. Otherwise, I'm going to be wrapping up, wishing you all a very happy Friday wherever you are in the world. Have an awesome weekend and happy investing.